Welcome to Wager Talk TV. I'm Kelly Stewart, joined by Adam Trigger and Dave Cokin of WagerTalk.com. Adam, I'm going to go to you first, just because our good friend CT Bets gave out this as his best bet last night on The Hustle. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm going to be really honest with you. Alabama currently a 13.5-point favorite, headed to Death Valley to take on a very improved LSU team. And I'll get to Dave here in a minute. He did tell me that Brian Kelly was going to get this team into shape, and I thought maybe he was wrong, but they are looking better as of late. It's kind of a weird spot here, Adam. This Alabama team loses by 3 points to Tennessee, and all of a sudden they've just fallen off a cliff. Kind of wonder if this isn't a buy low spot on the Tide. Your thoughts before we kick it over to Dave.
Yeah, Kel, it's an interesting game. I mean, I lean toward it being maybe too many points, but there's enough. There's going to be enough to keep me off of making a bet on LSU. That being so, things I like about LSU: 5-0 against the spread, last 5 games coming off of a bye week. But Alabama had a bye week as well, and some of the things that have plagued Alabama this year, namely the penalties, 17 of them against Tennessee, is stuff that I think could be cleaned up with a week to prepare. And we already started seeing Alabama sort of get in the get-right mode the week before the bye, beating Mississippi State 30-6, ended up covering the number in that game. So, it's hard to kind of want to oppose Alabama knowing that maybe the worst is behind them. And at the same time, I said this a couple weeks ago in one of these videos, is it possible that Alabama is just a normal team this year? Like, they're not the number one Alabama that we've seen for the most of the last decade. And I think it could be the case. And if that's the case, can they really be, laying 2 touchdowns to a team the caliber of LSU in this game, especially when LSU's gotten great quarterback play from Jaden Daniels, and Alabama's kind of struggled with teams that can get into their secondary. You look at Texas, Tennessee, that's really where they've kind of, struggled the most. So I doubt I'll be on LSU, but I do think it's probably too many points to lay with Alabama. So give me a lean toward LSU, but this is a tough one, guys. I'm curious to see what Dave has to say about it.
Yeah, Adam, I'm with you. They had 15 penalty flags against Texas. That was a scare that they got out of on the road there. Maybe you are correct. This isn't a high caliber, I guess we'll call it. Maybe it's more just an undisciplined Alabama team. But Dave, you got to think that first college football playoff rankings came out, and Alabama got a little snub there. Do you think that maybe that gives them a little motivation here, headed to Death Valley?
Yeah, I do. And I like the way they played against Mississippi State. I mean, that's 30-0. Mississippi State scored in the last play of the game. I mean, clearly Mississippi State isn't at the level of Alabama, but that's still a wipeout. So I think they got a lot of things back on the right page in that game. My take on this game, look, I like LSU. As far as the team improving goes, I said they'd get better. They are getting better. They're not going to be a pushover. This place is going to be nuts for this game. But I think the key here is the start of the game. Can LSU hang in early? If they can hang in early, they'll probably hang in for the whole game. But I have a feeling Alabama's going to come out snarling in this one. And going back to the old days, we know this is the same tendency. Crimson Tide, really good in the first half. When they're playing well, they smash teams early. And I think that's the way to bet this game. Alabama in the first half, laying a lot less. Don't have to worry about letdowns or anything like that with a big lead, maybe getting backdoored. That's the way I'd go in this game. If you like Bama, play them in the first half.
Dave, you're making me blush. Remember back in the day we did a radio spot
and
I got made fun of because I think 3 or 4 weeks in a row I gave out Alabama first half, and I believe it just kept winning. That does remind me of the old ESPN radio days. Dave.
I actually harken back to that because that's been a tendency. When Saban's got his team playing well, they just annihilate teams early. And then you might have to sweat the back door in the second half. But I do think Alabama's ready to start peaking. And if they do, they can win the first half here by 7 to 10 points. That's enough to get the money.
Absolutely.
And LSU has dug a couple early holes this year. I mean, they came right out and were blitzed by Tennessee. Ole Miss had them, I believe, down 11 real quick. So Dave might be onto something there because LSU is definitely
down to Florida early as well. If I remember, I think they went down very quickly to Florida, then came rushing back. Hey, I like it. What do you know? I'm laying it with Alabama in the first half now. That made it really easy. Thank you to Adam. Thank you to Dave. Make sure you guys head over to wagertalk.com. These guys have a ton of plays up for this weekend in college football and NFL.